working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. Today, I'm joined by our EBC Vietnam Bureau. Hello, Charlene.
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon and good afternoon to everyone. I am Charlene Navaja from our EBC Vietnam Bureau, bringing you the latest news in the dynamic ASEAN region.
On today's headlines. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque said the government is now requiring everyone stepping out of their homes to wear a face shield on top of their face mask.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo announces COVID-19 vaccinations will be provided free of charge for all citizens and says he will be the first to receive it.
A strong response to the coronavirus pandemic, surging exports and healthy public spending have helped Vietnam buck a global recession this year and fast-track its recovery, with analysts predicting it will likely enjoy one of the highest growth rates in the world.
And meet a unique team of female rangers on a mission to battle rampant deforestation and wildlife poaching in Indonesia. They're taking on illegal loggers and hunters threatening Sumatran tigers, pangolins, and other at-risk wildlife.
Presidential spokesman Harry Roque said the government is now requiring everyone stepping out of their homes or in public to wear a face shield on top of their face mask. In a media briefing, the secretary said the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases has made it mandatory for people to wear full face shields together with face masks. This is to effectively lessen the transmission of the coronavirus. He also said, quote, that full face shield should be used, which covers the forehead to the chin, and anything shorter than that is not allowed.
Quezon City residents are in favor of the city ordinance that still prohibits wakes at home. Brenda Corpus agreed that people should think of the safety of everyone since the threat of the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 is still present. Safety first, that is the reason what they are saying is that this is to avoid the transmission of the virus. Even in funerals, there should be a capacity to be followed. Wakes held at home do not impose rules. This makes people more exposed to COVID, Corpus said in her post to the QC government social media page. The city government reminded that Ordinance number SP 2907 and S 2000 is issued in April prohibiting the holding of wakes at home remains in effect. Mayor Joy Belmonte said the ordinance is still being strictly enforced to avoid mass gatherings, which are still prohibited amid the rising number of active COVID-19 cases. Barangay Community Relations Department, or BCRD, head Ricky Corpus said he received information that some barangays allow wakes to be held at home. Belmonte warned barangay officials and funeral homes personnel could be fined and imprisoned for violating the ordinance. She said those who cannot afford funeral parlors can ask for assistance from their respective barangays.
To Indonesia now, where President Joko Widodo announced that COVID-19 vaccinations will be provided free of charge for all citizens. He also said he will be the first to receive it. Take a look.
Melakukan perhitungan ulang mengenai keuangan negara, dapat saya sampaikan bahwa vaksin COVID-19 untuk masyarakat adalah gratis. Saya juga ingin tegaskan lagi, nanti saya yang akan menjadi penerima pertama di vaksin pertama kali. Saya juga menginstruksikan dan memerintahkan kepada Menteri Keuangan untuk memprioritaskan dan merealokasi dari anggaran lain terkait ketersediaan dan vaksinasi secara gratis ini, sehingga tidak ada alasan bagi masyarakat untuk tidak mendapatkan vaksin.
Widodo's announcement comes as Indonesia battles misinformation over the virus in order to stave off a fresh wave of infections, with some 630,000 recorded by Wednesday and more than 19,000 deaths. The government originally said only health workers, the elderly, and other key personnel would be given the vaccine for free. Widodo did not say when he would take the vaccine or when the national inoculation program would start. But he said he was happy to be the first to be inoculated in order to prove it was safe. Jakarta has signed deals for more than 350 million vaccine doses from different suppliers, including AstraZeneca. But the majority will come from Chinese suppliers, including Sinovac and Sinopharm, according to a Duke University vaccine tracking project.
Cambodia will acquire 1 million doses for its first batch of COVID-19 vaccinations. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen said Tuesday that the vaccine stocks had been ordered via the United Nations-backed COVAX facility, which subsidizes vaccines for 92 lower-income countries. Anticipating the outside demand for any approved vaccine, the World Health Organization formed the COVAX facility in April to ensure equitable distribution. It provides support for poor countries to acquire vaccines for 20% of their populations, though beneficiary states may be required to share costs of up to $2 per dose. It will provide access to treatments approved by the World Health Organization, which is yet to endorse any vaccine candidates. Hun Sen said the country would not accept vaccines uncertified by the global health body. The Prime Minister said Cambodia is not a dustbin and not a place for a vaccine trial, he said. That position appears to rule out any early deal to secure the Sinovac vaccine from China, which was pledged to support vaccine efforts in Cambodia, its closest ally in the region. In August, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang told Mekong countries they would be given priority once the China-developed vaccine is ready. This was echoed by Foreign Minister Wang Yi during a visit to Cambodia in October. The Khmer Times reported on Monday that China's ambassador in Cambodia was in contact with the government about the potential of deploying China-made vaccine, citing a social media post from the diplomat. Overall, Hun Sen said his government aimed to acquire 26 million doses to inoculate 13 million of Cambodia's 16 million citizens for free. World Health Organization country representative Li Alian told local media she hoped a vaccine would be available in Cambodia early in 2021 or by the middle of the year. Hun Sen said the government would allocate $100 million to $200 million to pay for the vaccine.
A spike in COVID incidents forced the state of California as well as the city officials to provide kiosk-type swab and testing centers all over California. Meantime, mall operators are implementing stricter guidelines to follow the state's imposed lockdown. Donna Roscoe was able to talk to some Filipino PhilAm employees there in California. Let's listen in.
Alma, I am hoping you are able to hear me. So let me tour you around the one of the malls here in Silicon Valley, and we just wanted to share with the audience there in the Philippines the outlook of malling here in California. And you will see that a lot of stores are closed, and some of which do even have signs of warning that there is limited capacity inside their stores. So let's go around and let's do some malling. In compliance to protocols implemented by mall operators here in Silicon Valley, California, I decided to step out and took a video of one of the kiosks for swab testing facility here in the city of Milpitas. There is not much activity as parking situation is very light, and as you can see, the line for the swab testing is in order. These people have a pre-arranged appointment, and these are all residents that have symptoms of the virus. Currently, the state prioritizes those individuals that show symptoms of the virus for testing. As I travel around the parking of the mall, you will notice that most residents have followed the advice of the state as well as the city to avoid crowding. That is why there is not much people on the ground, but as you enter the mall, you will be welcomed by signs informing people the observance of the new rules being implemented inside the mall. You may notice that a lot of the stores are closed. Meantime, stores that are open only allow 10% of the normal capacity. That is why a lot of the stores can only allow a maximum of 3, which is 1 customer and 2 sales clerk. You will also notice that the second sales clerk is by the door, controlling the customers and carry the sign that says, "Store closed at maximum capacity, do not form a line by order of fire marshal." While inside the mall, I was fortunate enough to chat to some of our kababayans who, considering the pandemic, still works inside the mall, and they are actually inside an insurance office. And let's see what they say with regards to the new rules and the situation that is currently going on here in Silicon Valley. So we have one of our kababayans here inside the mall working still, considering there is pandemic. So ma'am, has there been an effect on the number of walk-ins and people coming in because of the pandemic?
Yes, the effect is we have to abide by the rules of the fire marshal regarding capacity. So we have a maximum capacity, and it is much lower than the normal number of people that can come in.
What is the penalty imposed for those who violate any of the, like for instance, there's too many people here?
Oh, well, first you get the warning, and then I think at the second time they close your store until you comply.
But so far, are there any incidents of COVID here inside the mall?
Oh, we're not aware of any like positive cases. We're not aware of that.
Okay. So here is one of our kababayans working inside the mall. So, ma'am, what can you say about working inside the mall at this particular time?
Well, today is different, or at this time it is definitely different compared to pre-pandemic. In the past, you could tell that it is very busy, where it's really packed with full of people enjoying Christmas shopping.
How about the restrictions? Because I can see your office is have a good size, but are there any restrictions inside your office?
Yes, we do. So as you can see, we have the plexiglass in between the customer and also myself. and we have to wear the mask all the time, and also the 6 feet social distancing must be followed.
Okay. And what about the number of people coming in?
That is definitely a restriction also included. At this time, my office is 1,500 square feet, and we're only allowed to have 3 people at a time.
So, Alma, so far the new rules for the new normal has been implemented and in place here in this mall in Silicon Valley. In fact, several signs are posted as soon as you enter any store as mandated by the fire marshal, the city government, the state, and the mall operators. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the situation currently here in malls inside Silicon Valley here in California. Reporting live, this is Don Orozco for Eagle News, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Don. Meanwhile, Steffi Dewan joins us live where she'll report on the island getting an award as the best island destination in the Asia Pacific. Steffi, hello.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon to you and to all the televiewers around the world of Asia Pacific during the 6th Annual Travel Weekly Asia Readers' Choice Awards 2020. The Travel Weekly Asia Readers' Choice Awards is a platform that salutes the outstanding travel suppliers in Asia Pacific who set new benchmarks for the future of the tourism industry. According to Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation, or MMPRC, the awards highlights and industry contributions across different segments, and voters got to choose across 57 award categories. In this award, the Managing Director of Visit Maldives, Toyib Mohammed, stated that receiving such an award during these unprecedented times when the tourism industry is recovering and adjusting will assure our visitors that Maldives is on top of the most preferred destinations to visit. In addition to the best island destination of Asia Pacific's, Maldives also received many awards and accolades this year, including the most prestigious World's Leading Destination Awards at World's Travel Awards 2020. MMPRC noted that Visit Maldives has continued to push its market efforts to the Asia Pacific region with various visibility campaigns. Some of the campaigns conducted include digital campaigns with Freak Out in Malaysia, Latte in Australia, and Weibo and WeChat in the China market, as well as the Holding Global Market campaigns with CNN and Skyscanner. Maldives is currently open its tourists of all nationalities, with resorts, live boards, and guest houses having resumed operations. Maldives reopened its borders to international passengers on July 15, after nearly 4 months since the state halted issuing on-arrival visas on March 27. Guest houses in Malay region, which completely opened up on Monday, report being fully booked from present day onwards till the end of January. Based on the projection, that Maldives is on the road to reaching the 0.5 million mark next week for tourism arrivals across the year 2020. Miharo News speculated that numbers are set to return to its usual record-breaking pace in the near future. It should be noted that in 2020, Maldives welcomed 1.7 million tourists, that the island nation hit the 1 million target for the first time in 2013 with 1.2 million tourist arrivals. And that's the latest news for today, Alma.
Thank you very much. It sure is good, and we're happy to hear that Maldives got this award. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to more updates there in Maldives. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you so much, Alma. Reporting live from Maldives. This is Stephanie Juan, and we live in interesting times.
2 suspected members linked to a kidnap for ransom group, or KFRG, were killed in a shootout with lawmen in Antipolo City on Thursday morning. Based on initial information from the Philippine National Police, or PNP, anti-kidnapping group, The suspects were identified as a certain Kelly and Roy, who are allegedly members of the Mokong KFRG in an encounter with police officers conducting checkpoint operations along Marcos Highway, Sitio Painuman in Barangay Inarawan, Antipolo City. The PNP AKG said the checkpoint was set up after receiving information that the suspects were about to commit robbery in the area. The two suspects were then on board a motorcycle with no plate number, allegedly evaded the checkpoint and fired shots, prompting authorities to retaliate. Authorities recovered at the scene a .45 caliber pistol, a submachine gun, and some spent shells. Meanwhile, medical personnel with an ambulance from Barangay Santa Cruz arrived at the scene, where the suspects were declared as dead on the spot. Police said the Mokong group, led by a certain Ryan Bon de la Cruz, is involved in various illegal activities such as gun running, robbery, kidnap for ransom, and the proliferation of illegal drugs in Metro Manila and nearby provinces.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eagle news, because we live in interesting times.
Kumanta, sumaya tayong lahat. Saya-saya.
Working a construction job in Malaysia, Rohingya refugee Nema Shah knew his wife and daughter in Bangladesh had left on a rickety boat to try and join him. He heard nothing from them and was sure they were dead. But he later was shown images of his family getting off a boat in northwest Indonesia and took a boat himself to track them down. They're now together but stranded in a camp in Indonesia's Aceh province. Take a look.
Malaysia thai timu tiang hama chundem poi tiang shama mor hasarudan rakhi mani hi bare bori devala timu hi bare hata zedum basara dum bori devala hi nori bi ham hasagori kesu kesu tiang dalawe je dalaweri mani hi phoj jama men dormati bodo tudiore mani bi agi no mori no ho no ba mare no ho आणि सर्वच बाजूकडे आशियानमध्ये बुडापदा काही झाले माने इंटरनेटमध्ये फेसबुक युट्यूबमध्ये दाही बुडापदा रंगेर बुडापदाचं जे आशियान मानले तेडे आशियानमध्ये तुझे इंडोनेशिया गेला बीडीजी किदेडे इबरत दिवरा आला गुरे खासा माझे सिंगल जम्मू आणि मते इतर बाजारे दिगेर आला गुरे सिनिवाजो माने इबार तरातरे आर मारे इबार बामरा हबा जानाय इतारे बिदिमा दिखम दिखि माने मल्लाय हन माजे यानो तो खुशी दिन आनो आसिले
होता यार बड़ा लोयर दोलोई हजूम होता जिंदगी का उगोई हजूम वो जिंदगी का होता यार दला गोरी और होता जिंदगी गोरी हजूम यार बाहर सिंदर और ऐसिलाम तो यार दोलोई हजी बचा बिच कुछ ही Ani halatin dolo yang kusi lagi, toy gak malah hawa kata kesuma gila hawa lawan hara, hamai na hara yang nggak santai lagi tu.
Singapore and Malaysia are in talks over the twice-delayed high-speed rail project. A Singapore Ministry of Transport spokesman said that the talks still has until December 31st before officials have to make a final decision on its status. According to a Straits Times report, the ministry was responding to a Malaysian news report on Sunday, quoting a named source that said Malaysia is planning to continue the project without Singapore's involvement and end the line, which starts in Kuala Lumpur, in Johor, and not in Jurong East. A Singapore Ministry of Transport spokesman on Sunday said both countries are still in talks. The HSR project was first announced in 2010 and was touted as being able to cut the travel time between Kuala Lumpur and Singapore to 90 minutes compared with more than 4 hours by car. Both countries signed the bilateral agreement, a legally binding international pact in Putrajaya in December 2016, witnessed by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and the Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak. Months of pro-democracy protests have rocked Thailand. Tens of thousands have taken to the streets in unprecedented student-led protest movement. They are calling for the resignation of the Prime Minister, a rewrite of the constitution, and reforms to the monarchy. Over 20 leaders have now been charged under a draconian royal defamation law that could see them imprisoned for up to 15 years if convicted, but not at all Thais agree with the anti-royalist sentiment. Thousands have also gathered to show their support for ultra-wealth monarch.
เป็นสัญลักษณ์เหมือนแบบผู้พิทักษ์ของในฝั่งของคณะราษฎรเพราะว่าเป็นเขาเรียกว่าลดการแรงปะทะกับของทางตำรวจอะไรเงี้ยครับก็เหมือนถ้าพูดง่ายๆก็เหมือนการคุ้มกันของราษฎรที่ใช้วิธีแบบสันติวิธี
ผลงานพวกนี้มันออกมาจากความรู้สึกความกดดันของพวกเราไงมันไม่แปลกเลยที่สิ่งที่เมื่อวานที่ทางภาครัฐทำมันจะออกมาเป็นในรูปแบบศิลปะประเภทนี้
อยากจะบอกพระองค์ว่าเราคนไทยทุกคนรักพระองค์มากที่สุดเจ้าค่ะค่ะรักมากค่ะค่ะและภูมิใจนะคะที่ได้เกิดมาในประเทศไทยค่ะมีพระมหากษัตริย์ทรงพระประมุขเนี่ยค่ะภูมิใจมากค่ะ
คณะรักษาความสงบแห่งชาติซึ่งประกอบด้วยกองทัพบกกองบัญชาการกองทัพไทยกองทัพเรือกองทัพอากาศ
ตำแหน่งนายกรัฐมนตรีอยู่
การพิจารณาครั้งนี้คือแย่มากแย่แบบคือเขาหาเหตุผลอะไรก็ไม่รู้ที่มาซัพพอร์ตให้เขาให้พรรคพวกของเขาหรือตัวเขารอด ถ้าอย่างประเทศไทยมันไม่ใช่แค่ของไทยคนเดียวเพราะฉะนั้นกับการที่มีกฎข้อนี้แล้วแกนนำที่ออกมาพูดเรื่องพวกนี้แล้วเขาก็ยังโดนข้อหามันก็เป็นการแสดงแล้วว่ามันมีคนที่พยายามที่จะทำตัวเป็นเจ้าของประเทศแล้วก็กดคนอื่นมาข้างล่าง
And to Thailand again with more updates with our EBC correspondent, Faye Barte. Faye?
Good afternoon to you, Charlene, and to all our viewers. Yes, for today, I'm just going to share some updates about the PM 2.5 or the air pollution that is happening or that is ongoing here in Bangkok, Thailand. The latest air quality index is at 93. So that is today and that is this time. 93 is considered to be the moderate. And if it is moderate, so it means that it is actually acceptable. However, it is not really much for the people who are sensitive enough to the air pollution. So we still need to, be careful about it. However, for this situation, the Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha is urging also the people and the government here in Thailand to do some effort or to exert some effort about this ongoing problem. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha is actually urging the people or the public to just use the public transportation instead and not riding their personal vehicle. So because riding in a lot of cars would contribute to the highest level of the PM 2.5 and it would worsen the air pollution here in Bangkok. Another one is the Prime Minister also is urging the department to check for the black fumes of the cars. And another one is this one the PM 2.5 levels is now highest because of the agricultural burning also. And the last one is the Prime Minister is also urging the schools to skip some activities outside to keep the students safe from this air pollution. And we also know that, Charlene, there has been some protest here that is going on. However, the people here, instead of focusing on the protest itself, they focus on the health, the health on themselves. So they want to be protected about the coronavirus, the pandemic, and the PM 2.5 air pollution. Back to you, Charlene.
Thank you so much for your updates, Faye. So you have 2 reasons now to have mask handy all the time. So take care. Stay safe.
All of us. Yeah, you too. Take care there. This is Faye Barta reporting live from Bank of Thailand Bureau, and we live in interesting times.
ASEAN in Focus. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
In good shape. Isn't that how we'd all like to be? But how can you be truly fit? And how can you stay truly healthy right up into your golden years? And truly have fun while doing it.
In good shape.
Welcome back to ASEAN in Focus. A strong response to the coronavirus pandemic, surging exports, and healthy public spending have helped Vietnam buck a global recession and fast-track its recovery, with analysts predicting it will likely enjoy one of the highest growth rates in the world.
I think the effective management of the COVID disease itself was very, very important. Vietnam's done it as good, or one of the best in the world in that regard, and that's meant there's minimal disruptions to the economy. You know, the retail sector has slowed down less, or only for a relatively short period of time, or in localised areas. And I think probably the COVID success itself is sending a signal to other foreign investors that, you know, Vietnam has a capacity to deliver. It's shown it's a very competent government in those things that it gives high priority to, and that will help attract foreign investors, make them.
But the pain is not over for some sectors, with the containment measures and border disruptions hammering the country's tourism industry and leaving the once booming aviation sector limping. While many countries have suffered from high infection and mortality rates, Vietnam has recorded fewer than 1,500 coronavirus cases and 35 deaths, thanks to mass quarantines, expensive contact tracing, and strict controls on movement, allowing factories to largely stay open and people to swiftly get back to work. There were grave fears for Vietnam's export-reliant economy as demand for clothing, footwear, and smartphones slumped in some of its biggest markets, including the European Union, Japan, and South Korea. But analysts said it turned out that exports still helped promote growth this year. That's because Vietnam has a very diversified export market. It's not dependent on any single export destination. Shipments to China grew more than 15% on year in the first 9 months, according to the Vietnam General Customs Administration. Demand for many of the items made in Vietnam, such as home electronics, office furniture, computers, and televisions, soared during the pandemic as people were forced to stay home during the lockdowns.
In other news, the ASEAN-wide self-certification, or AWCSC, has been implemented since the 20th of September this year. It is ASEAN's latest trade facilitation initiative that allows exporters who have demonstrated their competence to comply with rules of origin requirements of the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, or ATIGA, to self-certify the origin status for their goods to be eligible for the ATIGA tariff preferences. Now, with this implementation of the AWSC, the certified exporters are now able to make out the origin declaration to all ASEAN member states. Let's take a look.
Implemented since 20 September 2020, the ASEAN-wide self-certification AWSC scheme allows certified exporters in all ASEAN member states to self-certify the origin of their goods to enjoy preferential tariffs under the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, or ATIGA. As shared by some exporters, the conventional certification scheme is burdensome and costly, and in some circumstances may result in low utilization of this mechanism. From now on, such concern will be addressed by this new scheme. Unlike the conventional system, certified exporters are now able to make out an origin declaration on a commercial invoice or other commercial documents anytime and anywhere convenient for them. However, only certified exporters satisfying certain conditions as provided in the ATIGA operational certification procedure could be allowed to self-certify products. The AWSC implementation, a certified exporter database was developed with the ASEAN USA Ignite support. ASEAN member states will continue to update this database so the customs authorities and competent authorities could verify the certified exporters for the purposes of granting preferential tariff treatment. As a great leap forwards in enhancing the regional trade facilitation, the AWSC will support the seamless free flow of goods, simplify the certification procedures, reduce trade transaction costs, provide the utmost convenience to the traders and governments, facilitate the trade in the region, and encourage traders to take more advantages of the ATIGA.
And meet a unique team of female rangers on a mission to battle rampant deforestation and wildlife poaching in Indonesia. Take a look.
Gimana gitu, sementara ibu-ibu di kampung Damaran Baru ini banyak, mayoritasnya petani. Nah, kalau kebun mereka rusak, setiap tahun terjadi bencana, kan apa yang mau bisa mereka lakukan? Nah, di situ baru timbul rasa kesal kami, kayak mana, ini kemana kita mau ngadu, kayak mana kita ini. Ternyata juga udah mengadu ke pemerintah, juga tidak ada respon bagi beliau. Itu seperti dibikinnya kami ini mengada-ada. Nah, jadi dengan hal tersebut, kami terus bentuk, oh ini mungkin kalau nggak dengan mulut perempuan, ini nggak digubris ini sama pemerintah. Jadi makanya oleh lembaga LSM ini kami juga diajak, ayo mungkin keterlibatan ibu-ibu ini, pemerintah ini lebih melirik, lebih
istilahnya orang pemburu. Habis itu jadi kawan-kawan dia mengajak itu untuk pelindung kan gitu. Saya oke aja. Begitu cepatnya saya bilang, oke, itu betul. Itu mendingan kita lindungin semua. Mari kita bersama melindungi. hutan kita ini. Mana hutan?
Twice a month, the hijab-clad women strap on floppy hats and rubber boots before setting off for about 5 days at a time, navigating the steep mountainous terrain. They search for signs of poaching and logging, remove animal traps, document endemic wildlife and plant species, and post signs warning against illegal activity, which they report to government authorities. The group also tracks evidence of deforestation and replants trees by the thousands with the help of more volunteers. Deforestation and habitat loss have long been a problem across the vast Southeast Asian archipelago, which is among the most biodiverse nations on Earth. Again, Charlene, thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Alma. So have a great day and stay safe. So that's all the news in the ASEAN region. This has been Charlene Navaja from your ABC Vietnam Bureau. We live in interesting times.
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you back tomorrow. I'm Alma Angeles, and we live in interesting times.